two. There was Nithya. So yeah, let me. You're right. 11 is.
A lot.
The name did not sound like it. She must be married to being pretty.
Yeah.
Armenian. They're real too.
Robert's on his way up. A lot of them.
Yes.
Robert's on his way
Do you know what
up. That's what we like. So I'm zero. I didn't see people like
5, 6 minutes. That too.
it's probably
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Puerto Rican people.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that the amount of time is just a little heads up.
Robert's wanted to see what the beach is. I feel like he very well. The penalties. I know.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2.
They'll hear you.
Or else. Can you log through?
Yes. It's measure like that.
Mona, how are you, Mona?
You're gonna try and put that up.
Oh, of course not. Thanks.
Yes.
I believe you're right here. Hey, how are you?
Hi, Robert.
Good. How are you?
Oh, just this little guy.
Wait,
What a big crowd today.
is that not the Zoom stuff?
That's the phone number. I think we have some up here.
Where's
Maybe a long.
what's the actual like Zoom limit?
If they decide.
Okay, I mean that's what we have to agenda now. So technically people can actually have a good week.
They're just updating on the website. It says
I think the game's on here.
yeah, this one's good.
No, thank you for flagging.
Yeah.
How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah.
I have no complaints. I got the kids and my grandkids, so that's a good combination.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
This is my last.
You got the company. You good? Test. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. And I'm going to conduct roll call. All right. Commissioner Field,
Present.
Commissioner Lewis,
Present.
Commissioner Murray,
Present.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Present.
Commissioner Schladiger,
Present.
Commissioner Stein,
Present.
Chair Mesa is present. We absolutely have a quorum. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We now move on to multiple items of public comment. I want to let everyone know that Spanish interpretation is available. If you would like it, there are tools over there, mics over there. We can get you set up. Speakers will have 1 minute per item to speak, a maximum of 2 minutes. The subject of their comments must be on topic with items on today's agenda. I think we want to make an announcement before we proceed.
Yes, so this is Jonathan Grote with the City Attorney's Office. With regards to the Spanish language interpreters, if I could, and I apologize for not clearing this earlier, if I could have one of the interpreters come up so we could make an announcement aloud to the room, just to make sure the instructions are clear. I think any of the mics that are live will work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for members of the public, if you require a Spanish language interpreter,
Miembros del público, si alguno de ustedes requieren un intérprete en el idioma español,
please make sure to pause every few sentences like I am so the interpreters can interpret.
por favor, háganos favor para los intérpretes de hacer una pausa entre sus comentarios para que los intérpretes podamos interpretarles. Gracias.
Don't worry, we will pause your time while the interpreters are interpreting, so you will get the same amount of time as everyone else.
Y no se preocupen, se parará el reloj mientras usted está dando su comentario público. Va a recibir el mismo tiempo necesario.
And as you're good, thank you. As a general announcement to the room, as the chair said, so you'll have up to 2 minutes. That's 1 minute per item. There are 2 items on the agenda today. If you are not on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you're on topic, then you may get one warning from me or the chair. At that point, you need to get immediately and clearly on topic. If you do not do so, then you may end up forfeiting your time. One other announcement, as we have a lot of new people here and we have a lot of commissioners who do not sit in council meetings all the time, just as a word of warning for everybody, during the public comment period, you may hear things that are offensive, some of them very offensive. I hope that that is not the case, but the best way to handle that and the fastest way to get through that is to let it play out. I would advise everybody that the Brown Act does not require you, the members of the audience, to listen. So if you hear something that offends you, which may happen, you're more than welcome to step out of the room momentarily. You can also, and I'm not joking, you can also pop in your headphones or stick your fingers in your ears if you would like. I hope it doesn't come to that. But again, the people who are here to speak do have a right to give their public comment. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into public comments. So let's do this. If people just want to form a line right here, and then as people speak, if you want to add to the line, you can just form a line down the center aisle.
And before you begin, if once you get to the front of the line, if you could please let us know the items you'd like to speak to. That way we know how much time to give you. So if you'd like to speak on both items, please say both items or item number 1 and 2. Thank you.
Yo quiero hablar a todos los pinche preguntas en este charter. Ya saben que el presidente de los Estados Unidos dice que América en Los Ángeles puro pinche putos. Nadie nos está me contestando. ¿Dónde está la transición, mendigos? Pues entonces, cabrones, le voy a decir, en este junio, el 10 minutos del abogado de este pinche pregunta, yo quiero decir que el charter es un cuachatado de puro mierda.
Pauses time. Mr. Herman, hold on. I'm being told that this is not on topic. So this is your first and only warning. Please stick to the agenda items or you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time.
All right, I'll speak my American Trump language. I said, hey, motherfuckers, I'm talking about June 10th meeting minutes regarding the fucking charter reform of commissioners. Am I on topic, dickhead? Apparently so, ladies and gentlemen and people of the audience. This motherfucker here is putting prior restraints on my protected free speech. He's telling you to put your fingers up your butt or in your ears and down your mouth to shut you up. No.
So, Mr. Herman, this
I'm not
is
Mr. Spinner.
Hold on.
Dickhead.
Pauses time. This is not
Yes.
your time. You will
All right.
only get one warning, and then you'll be subject to Rule 7, Rule 12, and you'll be potentially removed from the meeting, which none of us want to have happen. Okay? So I need you to listen carefully. All right? This is a special meeting, so there is no general public comment. What you are discussing right now is not on the agenda. So you're welcome to speak to the items. That would be 1 and 2. That would be the minutes from the previous meeting or the selection of the 5 additional members. This is your final warning.
So I just spoke on item number 1 regarding special meeting, which I know in the Brown Act and in a special meeting, there is no requirement to give the audience to participate in a non-agenda public item, which I was not. So just because you don't like my musical vulgarity to point out why I disagree with the charter, it's not my fault.
Okay. So you've been warned already. You're going to forfeit the rest of your time. We're going to move on to the next speaker.
I'm going into item number 2 right now.
Also
my
very
5
familiar
remaining
with the rules.
commissioner members.
So at this point, I'm going to ask you that you please vacate the podium so that we can move on to the next speaker. Okay?
You mean I'm finished then?
So at this, yes.
Okay, pues muchas gracias,
So at this
pinche
point, you are
puto.
disrupting the meeting. This is your first and only formal warning. Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items, please.
Okay, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
So I was actually reviewing the June 10th meeting minutes, and this has specifically to do with this commission on the fact that I didn't see any review on whether any current or any of the possible coming up commissioners have ever been validated, verified, and checked on whether they have any ties in not only good standing, but any ties to any other potential registered or unregistered lobbyist. And I ask because there's actually been one such board member over at the Board of Public Works who was directly appointed, supported, and passed internally as a recommendation by an unregistered lobbyist who is very well known and now has a six-figure salary as a result. So I think it's quite important that we document such things on the record. The commissioner I'm talking about, of course, is John Grant. And of course, they lead as one of the commissioners as the Board of Public Works. Moving on to the selection of the 5 remaining commission members, I know some of you actually come from various internal committees, and I know particularly a couple of you actually come from the nonprofit sector having to do with vendor services for homelessness programs. Well, what is this body doing in order to vet those individuals, not only existing but upcoming 5 remaining ones, to make sure that they have no ties in all the homelessness fraud initiatives that have clearly been documented, that Judge Carter has clearly overseen, that the city is clearly in major racketeering schemes involved with? What is this body doing to make sure that those people aren't tied into it? I know some of you are VPs of various medical providers that tie in directly with those nonprofits. Is anybody here potentially laundering money? Is anybody here being vetted for their ties to Inside Safe? Judge Carter would really love to know. The public would love to know. And are you taking any bond money and not disclosing the method of payments for those bonds? Is that grant money going to line your own pockets or the pockets of your board members and your nonprofits? I have a complaint letter here too regarding that. I'll let you take it afterwards. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Charlie Wu. I speak on item number 2. So I've been a business owner in Los Angeles for 45 years, and I've been involved in City Hall civic affairs about 40 years. I was inspired to get involved because of Tom Bradley's effort, determined effort to open up City Hall, particularly by including Asian Americans at the table for the first time. And I urge you to take this opportunity to make sure that you can uphold that fine tradition of inclusiveness city government. And in response to Mr. Bradley, I helped form an organization cause to inspire Asian American involvement in civic engagement and leadership development. And we have some fine leaders that actually make it to your final list today. And I'd like to urge you to consider Asian American finalists, particularly those that have been involved in our organization, because they're prepared, they're ready to serve. They're particularly Michael Yap and Andrea Matt. And I just found out another member from my group has applied and make the final list too, Angela for now. So I think you have the resume. Please give them careful
Speaker,
consideration.
your time has expired. Next speaker. And as we're waiting for the next speaker to come up, I understand that a minute can go by rather quickly. We are not trying to, essentially, we have to treat everybody equally. So if we cut you off, it's not because we don't want to hear from you. It's because we need to make sure we're giving everybody roughly the same amount of time. Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Agenda item 2.
Okay, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Heather Sid. I'm here on behalf of the Center for Asian Americans United for Self-Empowerment. I am here to add comments to what Charlie Wu just stated. There is no one on this commission who represents our community. APIs are not on this commission. They are not on a number of other commissions in the city of LA. So we are speaking today in support of Michael Yap, Andrea Mack, Angelina Finau, and any other APIs who have the ability to speak for and engage with our community. It is not enough to just come from us. You also need to be connected to our community and understand our concerns. Those who know how to engage with our community, specifically API, know what our concerns are, know how to outreach to us, know how to get things done in our community and express those in ways that others can understand and relate to. And that is all we are asking for. We do not have it currently. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item number 1. My name is Torin Spittle, CD13. I'm here representing the League of Women Voters. First, I'd like to thank the Commission for doing this crucial work. I'd also like to thank Interim Chair Raymond Meza for proposing weekly Commission meetings. Given everything the Commission needs to accomplish on such a tight timeline, the League asks the staff to ensure that the weekly meetings are incorporated into their revisions to the Thank you.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item 2.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Emma, and I'm here today to urge you to appoint a youth commissioner to the City Charter Reform Commission. Having a youth commissioner makes me and others my age excited to be involved and follow along with this reform process. And your appointment of a youth commissioner shows the 1.3 million people of Los Angeles, roughly 1/3 of our city, that you care about our future in this city. And we definitely deserve to have a voice in shaping the future of city governance. And specifically, I really want to urge you to appoint Andrea Mack as our youth voice on this commission. She's a young Asian American born and raised in Chinatown and a civically engaged leader who can speak thoughtfully to our community and represent the valuable input of the young people of the city. I know there's a lot of excitement around this idea, and many of us are here today actually because we really believe in youth representation. And rather than taking up more of your time, I'd like to ask everyone, all the young people in this room, to stand in support. Thanks for your time. And again, I really urge you to appoint a youth seat at the table and to appoint specifically Andrea Mack. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item number 2.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Happy Tuesday. Wanted to reintroduce myself. I'm Kathy J. Hood. I'm one of the applicants as well, applying to be a part of your commission board. I was here last week, heard about some of the items that you guys are going to be working on, and one including community outreach. I run a PR communications agency. I do community cleanups every Monday, every third Monday of the month in CD 13. And just I'm a community partner, resident, and just would love to be a part of the commission board. And so I have no agenda, just wanted to reintroduce myself.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
I'd like to speak on both of them, please.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
So, thank you, commissioners, and greetings to you and members of the public that are listening. My name is Barbara Steelman, and I'm one of the esteemed group of 20 people who have applied for the remaining 5 slots, and I'm very honored to have gotten this far. Some things not mentioned in the materials identifying me is that I'm a member of the LGBT community. I'm a senior citizen in my 70s, and I'm a city employee headed to retirement finally. So I can dedicate myself to this work when I retire full time. And I think this is probably the most important thing I could do to the city, even though I'm an audit manager for the Port of Los Angeles. It would be a capstone to my career. And I want to thank you for your service. I know what it's like to be a commissioner. I report regularly to the audit committee at the Port of Los Angeles, so I know the time and involvement that it takes. I mean, just reading through the small print today was a challenge. As an internal auditor in the controller's office, I've been in many departments. So I know the culture, I know the strengths, I know the weaknesses. And I think that's important to see. What works in the city and what doesn't. And some of it's ingrained in our charter and our rules and that type of thing, and we need to address those items. If you look at me, I am analytical. So I look at things from multiple sides. I've trained that way not only from my career, but also from my education. I'm also empathetic and I have integrity, and I'd like to be on this commission. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item number 2.
So you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brendan Fisher. I'm a resident here in downtown and one of the 20 being considered for the last remaining 5 seats on the commission. I know you have my responses and my resume in front of you. So the only thing I'd like to add is that I see the charter as the critical first step to getting the city back up to standards and creating a foundation for long-term projects. For example, one of the long-term projects that I'm personally interested in, partially involved in, is a capital improvement plan. The city doesn't have one, and typically these take the form of a 5-year infrastructure budget that targets streets, parks, sidewalks, streetlights, in essence, the public right-of-way. And so, regardless of whether or not I'm actually selected for this commission, I would encourage the commission to select members who have this kind of forward thinking and intend to pursue these long-term projects and maximize the city and department's ability to reinvest in our people. Thank you.
Which item would you like to speak on?
I will speak briefly on item 1 and then item 2.
You have 2 minutes.
So first of all, I just want to say that thank you so much for doing what you do, and that when I was listening into the last meeting, that your desire to have quorum felt very at home for me, because my name is Claudia Oliveira, and I am president of the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council. I understand how difficult it is. I've been serving the disposition for 8 years, and not being able to conduct the people's business because of quorum is really something very difficult. I'm going to jump onto item 2 and just talk a little bit about myself. So in addition to...
Self by name, please.
Sure. My name is Claudia Oliveira.
Thank you.
And I am president of the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council here in my private capacity. And I would just like to say that my attendance for the last 8 years have been 97%. So I've missed 3 meetings in the last 8 years. I am committed to putting in the work because I believe in the work of this committee. I think it's important, should be taken seriously, because we have an opportunity to address responsibilities in this charter as it pertains to our relationship with many different agencies. I'm glad to see that the League of Women Voters is here. I have read their study, which is over 200 pages. It's very well condensed and break it into chapters that can really paint a picture. They are doing ongoing studies. In addition to that, I would like to say that I served in the TFAR committee, so have been in a position to assist in allocating over 20 million of city funds, and I understand how these careful nuances can really shape a community. I also personally work across the county, so I have experienced community in Venice, to North Hollywood, and all the different parts, including downtown, which is my home base. I just want to thank you for your consideration. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item 2.
Yes, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Khalil Humphreys, and I'm here to voice my strong support for the appointment of Carla Fuentes to the Charter Reform Commission. She wasn't able to join us today because she's at work, but in true Carla fashion, she's already reviewed the draft charter engagement strategy and the engagement strategy and budget summary. She's excited to contribute and help strengthen this plan with her background in designing and implementing outreach strategies at both the citywide and countywide levels. Carla is a young Latina civic leader who's built her career around advancing equity and public participation. At LA 2050, where she works, she manages multi-million-dollar grant-making programs, leads public engagement campaigns that reach thousands of Angelenos, and partners with city and county departments. She designed and scaled the LA 2050 Youth Ambassador Program, and she serves on the board of the League of Women Voters and her neighborhood council and several other advocacy organizations. And I'm about to run out of time, but I think she's best for the position. And have a great day.
Hello. My name's David Levitas. I'd like to speak on items 1 and 2. Thank you, commissioners, for your important, vital work on this charter commission. I'm the founder and executive director of LA Forward Institute. And LA Forward, we're a civic education organization, civic engagement organization, working to make this a fair, flourishing place for everybody. Work on a wide range of issues. We know that we have a very compressed timeline for this charter review and set of proposals. And I'm heartened to hear what the interim chair, Meza, said about meeting very regularly, meeting weekly to make sure that we cover all the ground that we need to cover. So appreciate that. Moving on to item number 2. Here today to speak in favor of some of the finalists, the 20 finalists who we've gotten to know personally. So really have gotten to know quite well from their leadership in the community. Carla Fuentes, Brendan Fisher, and Marie-Aimée Bayot really have nothing but positive things to say about them as smart, hardworking, engaged in the community, and fair. I think, in particular, they would bring an element of younger generation to the commission, which, as an organization that organizes a lot of younger folks, we think is especially important. We're also members of RLA, the coalition that is a citywide coalition working to pursue equity through charter reform and governance reform, and we support their we echo their support for Dalia Velasco and Michael Yap. We believe that putting these 5 folks on the commission would help us get the full diversity of communities and backgrounds and experiences that we need. We know that folks like Carla and Brendan in particular bring a youth perspective, and Carla in particular brings perspective from the Valley, and as well as having grown up in CD15 that we, I think, sorely need on this commission. So thank you so much, and appreciate all your work. Have a great day.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item number 2, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Marie-Aimée Bayot. I'm one of the 20 shortlisted candidates on your list. I am a immigrant. I came here 10 years ago. I'm a proud Angelino. I don't know if I'm allowed to call myself that yet, but I love the city. And my career has been as a lecturer, a facilitator, an activist, an organizer, a public servant, most recently. In all those roles, I've always sought out, listened to, and uplifted others people's voices. That has been a through line through my entire career. In LA in particular, I've worked with government. I was a staff member at the County of Los Angeles DHS, the Housing for Health, and community organizations, like I've been involved in mutual aid and with LA Forward, amongst other groups. In those roles, I've always been able to educate and advocate for underrepresented communities, and I've often felt disappointed by not being able to affect real change once I've identified the ways that those communities could help make things better. And I'm excited to be considered for this commission as a chance to have a real impact and lasting change in this city that I'm very lucky to call home. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would like to speak on both items, please. Hi, my name is Ida Ashuri. I'm a first-generation Angelino, a public interest lawyer, a transit rider, a community organizer, cyclist, former neighborhood council board member, and current chair of the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council Environmental Affairs Committee and former chair of the Diversity Inclusion Committee. I grew up in North Hollywood, Canoga Park, and Whittier, and I currently live in Los Feliz. I created the Diversity Inclusion Committee to make a more inclusive and welcoming Los Feliz, something that should be the goal of this commission. I have worked in many fields to uplift marginalized voices with immigration, law reform, education, and transportation. As a neighborhood council member, I'm familiar with the Brown Act and its importance. And I have volunteered with the city attorney where I advise on immigration and religious persecution. When I worked at nonprofits, I made sure that documents and webinars were translated into multiple languages, including Korean, Vietnamese, and Chinese. Often those languages are overlooked in our communities. I know how important this commission is in terms of having a diverse pool, as well as people who are not going to be able to be financially gain from their position. I have worked to ensure transparency on projects coming out of CD4. I connected with the community canvassing the entire district. And I have spoke up on making a resolution when I was on the governing board, condemning the actions that really brought forward this commission. I've dedicated my entire life to public interest, from tutoring disadvantaged youth at the YWCA and Schools on Wheels, to working with Church Full Service as a fellow to prepare communities for ICE raids and draft immigration reform legislation. I feel honored to be before you today, as often these commissions feel out of reach for community members like me who were raised by single parents and who come from marginalized areas of the world. I have worked hard to overcome prejudice and lack of resources to get to where I am today, and I would work hard as a commission member here. Thank you so much.
I'm here to speak on number 2.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
All right. So, hello, my name is Angelina Finau. My parents come from Tonga, and I just wanted to introduce myself because it's kind of important because basically, I'm sure there are barely any of us out here. And most people have never heard of where my parents come from, but everyone knows LA. And I was born and raised here, and I was always very proud to be from here because it didn't matter that no one knew my parents were. But what mattered was the work we could do together, what we could build together. So I did become the person I did when I graduated from college, so Compadres. Also have a lot of things that I'm involved with in the community, including the wonderful cause Center for Asians United for Self-Empowerment, a lot of amazing things. I also went on a Fulbright to Korea, a lot of amazing opportunities that came my way, and it's because of this great city. So I welcome an opportunity to work because I'm just a regular person who wants things to work for regular people. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamil Hamilton. I'll be speaking on agenda item number 2. I just want to say thank you all for your time here and for your consideration. As somebody who grew up in South Central Los Angeles from a working class family, the idea that I would have the opportunity to help shape our city charter is just something beyond my wildest dreams. So I want to thank you all. And as I'm sure you all know, Los Angeles has over 3.8 million people in it. That's a lot of different folks. That's a lot of different communities. That's a lot of different needs. But something that everyone in our city needs is a city that works for them, a city that's fair, a city that's equal, and a city that is working to make their lives better. And that's exactly what I think we have the opportunity to do with this city charter. A city charter is more than just a rule book. It really is a foundation for values. It's a foundation for how we want our city to operate. And I'm really excited to bring my experience building people-powered solutions, whether it's me working as a union organizer or a tenant organizer or building in my experience from community organizing here in LA. It's going to be difficult to put together a charter that works for everyone, but I'm really excited to work with you all to figure out how we can make that happen. So thank you all so much.
Hi, Rob Kwan. I'd like to speak on both items. For the first item, it's our minutes from the last meeting, and I enjoyed the conversation, but did feel like y'all were put in an unfair position, making really quick decisions in a single meeting and not even having the benefit to actually read the public comment that was submitted to the commission in a timely manner. We had a rush timeline pushed on us where the staff, not you guys, the people who are here to decide, are choosing the 20 people we'll consider here. And the time, the July 1st council recess was something that was highlighted. And then a few minutes later, what do we hear? We're not going to meet again till July 19th. What happened to the fierce urgency of now? We heard that we're going to meet twice a month. Are we going to get anything done and actually work in a serious timeline? I do want to just say, and this is no knock on the staff, their qualifications, their integrity, but the reality, the political reality is this isn't like the Ethics Commission where y'all hired the executive director. It's not like the Redistricting Commission where they hired their executive director. That is somebody that can be fired by the mayor and the mayor alone. That changes the reality of things. I walked out of that meeting originally really excited to get a bunch of people to apply. I wasn't planning on applying. And then I just felt like, what am I sending them into? Y'all didn't even give us the benefit of addressing the proposed changes you had to that item. I filed a Brown Act complaint with the district attorney today because there are a couple of issues with that vote on item 3 last week. One of them, really, really big one, is the agenda item was inaccurate beyond being ambiguous and insufficient. That is a particularly big issue compared to public comment because it could render this decision null and void and potentially this one that you're making here today. So maybe you should talk about that in closed session. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to actually read all of the applicants. There are some great people in there. Everything I'm saying, no knock against them. just the process. It helps us all sleep well at night. And lastly, Ida and Dahlia seem great.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Number 2.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Andrea Mack. Nice to see you all again. I was here last meeting and spoke about a need for a youth representation on this commission. I'm honored to be one of the 20 selected for the remaining commission seats. I just wanted to reiterate again that I believe in the purpose of the City Charter Reform Commission. I was born and raised in Chinatown, Los Angeles. I do civic engagement work and community outreach in my day-to-day job, and I'm willing to do the work and take the time needed to properly serve as a commissioner. As you see today, there are many youths in this room. Having a youth on this commission will continue to encourage youth like myself to be civically engaged in this process. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I look forward to being a part of shaping the future of the city. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Commission members, I would like to speak on item number 2, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, esteemed commission members. My name is Leslie Andrew Ridings. I'm a founding member of Downtown Los Angeles Residents Association. We represent approximately 2,500 downtown residents. And I'm here to advocate for your inclusion of Claudia Oliveira on the commission. I've had the ability to work with her in her professional capacity over the last several years, and I have nothing but good things to say. Her nuanced understanding of downtown and its 90,000 residents would be a boon to this commission and its mission of reforming the charter. Downtown has a population of 90,000 residents. That's more than Santa Monica. 40% of those residents are immigrants. It is a population that's consistently misunderstood and overlooked by the city and its charter. As a leader, as a civil servant, and as an immigrant, Claudia would make a fine addition to this commission, and I and the residents of downtown urge you to offer her a seat. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
I'll speak to number 2.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Nancy. It's good to see you all. Thank you again for your commitment to this work. I'm here personally to help speak on behalf of Michael Yap, who was unable to make it, but just really wanted to express his commitment. He's someone who has corporate legal experience. He's worked at Fortune 100 companies. He's led global teams, and he's here in Los Angeles and wants to continue to give back, is connected to community, and is willing to serve. So just hoping that you'll consider him, as well as Andrea Mack is always impressive. So that's my comment. Thank you so much.
Which items would you like to speak on? I'll speak on item 2, please. You have 1 minute. Thank you. Hi again, my name is Jeremy Payne. I'm a representative of Catalyst, California, and a member of the RLA Coalition. I will be looking at my phone once again. I apologize, but last week I made a public comment uplifting the RLA's coalition's hope to see a Charter Reform Commission representative of the city's demographics and socioeconomic diversity. Today I'm happy to make another public comment in support of 4 amazing candidates who have made it through to the 20 finalists that you have today. RLA, a coalition of 13 movement-building racial justice advocates and organizations, is proud to support Brendan Fisher, Maria Emi Brajo, Dahlia Velasco, and Michael Yap. These 4 candidates are exemplary leaders in their communities, and each has a proven track record of uplifting community voice, multiracial solidarity, power building, racial equity, structural reform, or transparency in our city. Stuff that will be worked on within the city charter. So we hope you consider these individuals and look forward to continuing to work with the Charter Reform Commission on really strengthening the city charter. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item number 2, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to see all of you again. I was here at the last board meeting, and I remember talking about, at the very end of it, speaking individually with you, saying a quote, one of my favorites, is that the laws of a modern society should not be written by dead men. As a person who represents, the vice chair of the Echo Park Neighborhood Council, specifically on the Planning and Land Use and Livability and Sustainability Committees, I understand how the realities of the intricacies of how do we transform our neighborhoods and how do we create an LA where we're not reacting to roadblocks in front of us, but being proactive and making reform a habit, but not a reaction to what we do. No matter who we get on this panel, I would be honored to be chosen as one of them. It would be someone who represents the youth, which is 1/3 of our city, who has the capacity to be here at every single meeting, in addition to being able to make it one of their core focuses, and also being able to represent marginalized communities as well as the ones we represent. Thank you.
And is there anyone else who would like to speak? If so, please come forward. Mr. Chair, I do not see anybody standing up to speak, so I believe if you would like, we can close public comment.
Yeah, you can close public comment. All right, thank you everyone for your public comment. We are going to move to the first item on the agenda, which is approval of the June 10th meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
I move approval.
All right, a motion has been introduced. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion on the meeting minutes from June 10th? All right, seeing no discussion, I will call for a vote. We'll do a roll call vote for the audio. Commissioner Field.
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yes.
Commissioner Murray.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
Yes.
Commissioner Schladiger.
Yes.
Commissioner Stein.
Yes.
I vote yes. All right, the minutes from our June 10th meeting are approved. We will move on to our second agenda item, which is selection of 5 remaining commission members. I'm going to ask for a staff report first, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, I'd like to once again read the section of the ordinance that created this body that pertains to the selection of the 5 remaining commissioners. Section B, the initial 8 members of the commission shall establish an application process to develop criteria for appointment of the 5 additional members of the commission. These appointments shall be made at a public meeting by a 2/3 vote of the 8 initial commissioners and shall be subject to the approval of the city council. The commission shall endeavor to ensure that the commission reflects the city's overall diversity, including racial, ethnic, sex, gender, sexual orientation, age, income, professional, and geographic diversity. However, formulas and ratios shall not be applied to the process. Section C, a person shall not be eligible to serve on the commission if the person is 1, a registered lobbyist, 2, contributed to the appointing authority in the 4 years immediately preceding the person's appointment, 3, is the spouse, domestic partner, child, parent, sibling, or in-law of an appointing authority, confirming authority, 4, has an ownership interest in a business, other than a stock in a publicly traded company that contracts with or seeks discretionary approvals from the city or personally provides compensated services to the city under a contract, or finally 5, serves in an elected city office. Service on a board of a neighborhood council shall not disqualify a person from serving on the commission. Before you is a list of 20 Los Angeles residents that the staff believes fit the criteria listed by the ordinance. As updated, Brandy Munoz informed us she is ineligible to serve, so the list is now 19 candidates. Staff considered not only the ordinance, but also letters submitted by community groups, public comment taken at previous meetings, plus the discussion of the commissioners had at the previous meeting. We considered all the applicants that submitted prior to the commission set deadline of 11:59 p.m. on Friday, June 13th, 2025. It is now your charge, while following the spirit of the ordinance, to select 5 people out of the remaining open seats. After discussion, staff recommends that the commissioners vote for 5 people from this list, after which staff will tabulate the top 5 vote takers and report out results. Staff requests a brief recess in order to complete our part of the process. Upon return, staff will present the top 5 vote takers and recommend the commission, if there is no further discussion, vote to approve the group as required by the ordinance. Staff recommends that a second vote be taken for alternate commissioners, 2 at most, to be considered in case 1 or 2 of the selected today are either unable to serve due to eligibility or unwilling to serve for their own reason. This completes the staff report.
All right, I'm going to open discussion. Commissioner Field.
I actually have a question for City Attorney, I think.
I just want to understand, I believe one of our applicants is already sitting on a city commission. I could be wrong. I understood you can't be on 2 city commissions at once, or is that wrong?
Sorry, I'm going to ask not put you on the spot. So I'm going to ask that Harit Trivedi come up for that, as I'm your Brown Act attorney.
Hi, Harit Trivedi, City Attorney's Office. The ordinance doesn't create a conflict for a commissioner who's on another commission, though I will look to see which commission that is and ensure that they don't have any conflict on that end. So.
Commissioner Stein.
I have a difficult time, and I don't know if any other commissioners do, of just ranking people off of their resumes and the 1 or 2 minutes that they had.
Commissioner, if you could just speak closer into the mic.
Never had that request before. I have a difficult time trying to vote just based upon reading at the time the 20 resumes in front of us and getting to hear for a maximum of 2 minutes those commissioners that, or those individuals who wanted to come here and give their presentation of why they should be selected without a more thorough discussion among the commission of why we're trying to appoint these people. What are our reasons, what we think are the talents, or the opposite, why they might not be a good fit for the commission. And to just simply go off a ranking system just doesn't seem like the best way to approach it.
Additional discussion from the commissioners.
I'd like to chime in. I'd like to echo my fellow Commissioner Stein's concerns. I too had a very difficult time. How many final applications did we get?
We had about 140-ish, maybe 142 applicants that applied throughout the process of over multiple months that started, I want to say, in February or March, and then concluded on Friday night.
Thank you.
Commissioner Field, and then me in the queue after. Go, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure, with due respect, I'm not sure I understood what the staff said about how we're going to do this. I mean, we have all these great applicants. What were you saying about we're going to do ranking and then you're going to do something? Please explain again.
Sure, happy to clarify. So, not ranking. Every commissioner will get to pick 5 people. No rank, not first through second. Ranked choice voting would take an additional process where, honestly, an expert in that area would have to come in to process that. So you get five people to vote for. We have quote unquote, pieces of paper, ballots to give you to write out your names. We'll take those, fill out the top, calculate who gets the top 5 vote takers, report back those 5 names. And if there's further discussion about it, I've given an example. What if 4 of the names are from CD 16? The magical CD 16.
You're expanding the council.
Yeah.
already?
Whoops. That was not my intention, other than to not put any district on the line. But from one district, if that were to happen and this commission said, let's re-examine, let's talk, let's reshuffle, or have that discussion. But if it comes back and you feel like the slate, if you will, the group is reflective, of some of your goals, obviously with a group of what will be ultimately 13 people, some council districts will not be represented. Just mathematically, that's going to happen. So, going for perfection, again, because 13 will be hard, but doing, going for the spirit of the ordinance as laid out without ratios and quotas. If this commission feels good, then the commission will then vote to approve that group, if that makes sense.
and maybe I'm by myself and maybe Vice Chair Sanchez is on, but it doesn't give us a chance to really examine the qualifications other than reading the resume. The resume may be totally true. The resume may have some embellishment in it. The 1 minute presentation doesn't add a lot to it. So we're depending on staff to have picked the best 20. And then we're depending on the people that applied to write a resume that really sets forth, what their real qualifications are. And I don't know if the commission doesn't have ideas, and different commissioners will have different ideas of what we're looking for in those 5 remaining, appointments. It's easy to say that we need geographical location, we need gender, we need ethnic sensibility, so that everybody is represented. But without having that discussion, I'm not pleased with the process.
I'm going to jump in and then happy to take other commissioners who want to jump in. Number one is I want to appreciate everyone who gave public comment. I thought it was helpful, albeit short. I also want to appreciate those of you who submitted written public comment. For those who either could not be here today because of work or to advocate on your behalf. And I want to appreciate the organizations that have also spoken on behalf of people who they find support their mission and values and have their confidence, because that is also helpful direction. I can speak about what I am looking for in the remaining candidates. Obviously, without ratios and quotas, I am looking for something that does fit the spirit of the ordinance, a diversity of Los Angeles, a diversity of race, of age, of geography, of council district. I mean, I want to let all of you know, there was an appointing authority who appointed us. So we didn't take into account, we were not decision makers of the composition of who you see here today, but we are decision makers in the composition of the commission moving forward. And that is an important factor to me. I appreciate those of you who've submitted your resumes. Resumes can absolutely be embellished. I think as I mentioned at the last meeting, and I know was reiterated in some public comment, I am a proponent of the commission meeting more frequently because of the time constraint that we are on. So I also have some critiques of the process. But I definitely don't want to punt this decision. I don't think anyone's even is suggesting that. So could we do better? Yes. I also want to say I appreciate the staff working over the weekend. We gave you a deadline of 11:59 p.m. on Friday. So you obviously worked through the weekend to get us a lot of material. I think what may be helpful is if we can have a motion on the floor to follow the staff recommendation and then continue discussion, just so we have a process at least for how we're going to do this. So I would be happy to entertain a motion. I think I'm going to ask staff to read the process one more time so that everyone's clear.
Alrighty. Staff recommends that the commission vote for 5 people from this list, after which staff will tabulate the top 5 vote takers and report out results. Staff requests a brief recess in order to complete our part of the process. Upon the return, staff will present the top 5 vote takers and recommend to the commission, if there's no further discussion, vote to approve the group as required by the ordinance.
Mr. Chair, may I just wanted to clarify, but before I do, let me just echo everything that you said. I'm very much appreciative that you said what you did at the opening here. There are tremendous candidates in front of us, and we're going to do our best to make up that composition. And so thank you for your comments. You said that the commission votes on 5 candidates, but I'm understanding each commissioner votes on or puts forth 5 as a vote. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, Chair, I'd like to make the motion unless
All right, there's a motion by Commissioner Murray to adopt the recommendation of the staff for the process moving forward. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, second. Okay, we have a motion. Let's continue with discussion. Commissioner Murray, was your motion? Would you like to speak on it?
no, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Yeah, I did that last week. No, Chair. Sorry.
Commissioner Field.
I am so sorry. I am still having trouble. Are you saying, though, that we're going to read aloud 5 names, or you're saying something about a piece of paper?
So I'll give you a piece of paper, each of you. You'll write out 5 names.
Okay.
We'll take those 5 names.
Right. And then yeah. I guess my question, and
It's complicated. Yes, it's 2-step. Yeah, absolutely. And just because the way the ordinance is written, this is the best of an imperfect process. The ordinance really didn't lay out this, so we had to kind of make it up.
Okay. I'll operate under the assumption that it's okay under the Brown Act for us to write names as long as the final voting is done publicly, right?
I believe so.
So I realize it might take more time actually, but I do recommend that the 5 names that each individual commissioner is going to submit do be read aloud so the public is aware of the names on that list. Recognizing that the final vote itself will be tabulated afterwards, but at least then the public is apprised of the names that are being submitted by each individual commissioner.
Just to clarify, would you want us to? You want them? You'll guide us through how you want that process to go the best way.
Yes, the clerk's
Okay,
office,
perfect.
the clerk and I will.
Thank
help
you.
with that.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know if this question is for the staff or for my fellow commissioners, but what are some concrete examples, maybe just one, where one of the backups might actually get into the top 5?
Sure. We actually have a short window for that to happen. These alternates would only fill in a seat, if between today, if the commission moves forward with selecting 5 candidates, and the council approval, someone is removed or removes themselves. And to clarify, this might actually go to the rules committee on Friday, and so it would have to be before that date. That's an update. We still had the same original timeline for council, that they wanted everything to us basically, less than 48 hours from now on the 19th. But the rules committee is taking this up, holding this for this Friday.
Other commissioners, discussion?
I'm going to take one last chance at my motion. The difference between the 8 of us, as it should be, or eventually will be when Councilman Blumenfeld makes his appointment, is the appointing agency, whether it in this case be Mayor Bass, whether in this case it be the council president, or whether it be in Mona's, in my case, council member Krikorian. They knew us. That appointment was made knowing who we are to them, whether it be to the mayor, whether it be to the council president, whether it be to the council emeritus. I still say you're asking us to do this on a resume. And that doesn't seem by any means, without any discussion of the qualifications and such, to be the right way to do it.
Mr. Chair, could I just ask Commissioner Stein, because I'm very sympathetic with what you're saying. Obviously, it's a challenge, and recognition of the staff that they also had to do the same work. Do you have a recommendation about how to get some additional information on a schedule that might work for us?
Well, one, I'm not for putting this vote off today. It might mean that we'll be here for a longer period of time to hash out who the 5 are. As you might recall, last week I made a motion that, or I think I just talked to the chair on it, that we could do this in closed session, then come out in open session and do it. The city attorney said that that was not permissible. So we can do it open session, and each one of us can justify why we think our 5 people are the most qualified to be the 5 additional commissioners. It's not ideal because somebody's going to be appointed to the commission, and some of us might have said, "Oh, they're not the person that we'd like to see on the commission." So that's not exactly moving with your best foot forward. But I think it's a fairer way to the public, and I think it's a fairer way, candidly, to us, that we get 13 people working towards a common goal and commitment to that goal.
Mr. Chair, could I respond? I'm sorry.
Commissioner
Go,
Field.
sir. I was planning to speak about why I'm choosing my 5 if we pass the motion to do it this way, because we're going to say it out loud as I understand it.
Yeah.
So each of us can say, here's why I chose these 5.
My understanding was that we were going to sign a ballot piece of paper and list our 5, and there wasn't going to be any discussion of why we listed those 5.
Sorry, Commissioner Stein, as city staff just pointed out, you'll do that, but you will write out your 5, but you will also verbally state your 5, and it is up to each commissioner if they want to, in addition, speak to those 5. Why they are. No one's making you speak to those 5, but discussion is yours to hold. You can say as much about your 5, or you can speak against people. I wouldn't recommend that if you wanted to as well. That is your right as a commissioner to have during discussion.
So, Mr. Chair, the clarification that I'm seeking in this conversation about whether we read them out loud or perhaps it's really a matter of when. For example, am I first, or do I get to hear everybody's argument about why, right? So somebody is chosen. So that's just a question for clarification that I'd like.
But
and I'm just going to recognize one comment I made from the last meeting, which is if we so chose, we could choose fewer than 5 for some future deliberation.
But then it's a fait accompli. If we're signing the 5 that we want without a discussion among the commissioners, we're still doing it off a resume.
I'm going to introduce an amendment to the motion. My amendment is that before we name our 5 names, that each commissioner have the opportunity to talk about, if they choose, they have the opportunity to talk about their 5 candidates. So we go around once, everyone can talk if they wish, and then we do the vote.
I accept the friendly amendment.
I think there needs. Can we do a friendly amendment, or does it need to be a vote?
The city clerk is saying that that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Call the question.
Okay, so the motion as amended. So unless the city clerk wants to read it, or do you all want me to? I can take a stab. Okay, all right. Each commissioner will have the opportunity to discuss their top 5 applicants. After discussion, commissioners vote for 5 people from the list, which we will verbally record our vote, after which staff will tabulate the top 5 vote takers and report out the results. Staff request a brief 10-minute recess in order to complete their part of the process. Okay, so the question has been called. That is the motion. I am going to do a roll call vote. Commissioner Field.
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yes.
Commissioner Murray.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schladiger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stein,
No.
Chairman Mesa, yes. Okay, the motion passes. I will go in the roll call order for each commissioner if they wish to talk about their 5 candidates or any number of candidates, no more than 5. All right.
I'm still alphabetically first. That could change.
Apologies, sorry. I just want to make sure the record is absolutely clear. So I believe there was a motion to call the question. So I just want to make sure that
We're on the main.
that what exactly was voted on. And
Okay. Yes.
a motion to call the question does require a second. And I don't recall, was there a second to this?
Well, I'll second it so we don't have to redo it. Okay, so we're now we go to,
Okay. So
Now we'll vote on the motion.
now we have to vote on the main motion. Because that was the vote on the call to question, correct?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Just for the record, so the vote that was conducted with Commissioner Mays or Chair Mesa seconding the call to question.
Correct.
So the vote that was already taken was to call the question.
Correct.
Perfect. Now the vote that's before the commission is on the motion itself.
Correct. As amended, which is non-debatable, correct?
That's correct.
All right. All right, everyone. We are going to vote on the motion as amended. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schladiger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stein,
No.
Chairman Mesa, yes. All right, the motion passes. Commissioner Field, you can talk about your candidates.
Yes. First, I want to say again, first of all, I'm grateful to the staff. I know they did give up a huge amount of their weekend to get us these outstanding 20. It was really hard to pick 5. I just want to mention my criteria. I picked from 5 different council districts because I'm really concerned about geographic diversity. I'm very sorry that we didn't have an applicant in this group from the 15th. They always feel so out of it down in San Pedro. Or am I wrong? Okay, sorry. Anyway, I wanted to go by council districts, meaning different parts of our city. I wanted to be concerned, as has mentioned several times from speakers, about the younger generation. And of course, all the other forms of diversity in our city. I don't think this is the moment in which I list the 5 because I think that happens a little later. And I do want to say regarding this very awkward proceeding where some people in the audience are here but won't be selected, I've done this for vacancies on the Board of Trustees of the LA Community College District, and we did it in public. And believe me, I know it's hard being out there. And if you aren't among the final 5, it's hard. But I really am glad we're following the Brown Act as we should. And thank you, everyone who has expressed interest. I hope anyone who does not become a member of the commission, but who cares, will continue to attend meetings and participate. Thank you.
Commissioner Lewis.
I'll try to be succinct. First of all, I definitely want to acknowledge the efforts of the staff. Know they definitely worked hard throughout the weekend to do as best they could to scale this down with what I find are some really great candidates. Selecting 5, very difficult. So to echo Commissioner Field, we're giving it our best shot, but some very difficult choices to make. And for those who may be here with us who may not get selected, it certainly, I think, isn't any kind of slight on your qualifications. We have 20, 19 now. We can only select 5. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. With that in mind, for me, it's extremely important to have a commission that mirrors the broader city demographics as much as possible, whether that's racially, ethnically, geographically, generationally, gender-wise. So that's absolutely something that I'm keeping in mind.
Commissioner Murray.
Thank you. One of the most important things for me was representing individuals from all over the city, and I did take that into account. Also, a comment from Ms. Mack last week really got to me as far as having the youth represented. I am from Council District 14, and there are 3 of us already from Council District 14 on the commission, and there's some outstanding applicants also from that district, so I did have to take that into account. I also was interested in representatives from the LGBTQ community, and I will tell you all of my selections after we finish this discussion.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
Thank you, Chair Mesa. First, I want to thank every person who submitted an application, everybody who's shown up here to provide public comment, and those who have also shown up for those who have not been able to be here. I looked very, very carefully at all of the applications. This was not an easy process for me. I did look through all the corners of Los Angeles. I represent CD7, and I think I'm the only one from the San Fernando Valley. So that for me was one of the bigger considerations, given that the the San Fernando Valley represents a great part of the city of Los Angeles. I also looked at experience, background, and a lot of the questions that were asked. Why do you want to serve on this commission? I think was very important to me and what was written out. I appreciate again everybody's participation, and I look forward to naming the 5 that I chose.
Commissioner Schladiger.
Thank you. I will not repeat the comments about the diversity that we're seeking here, other than to recognize that I agree with that, and that as a CD14 resident, I also struggled, as Commissioner Murray did, with that, and noted the diversity even within CD14 is great. So a tremendous challenge in that regard, but the geographic makeup was certainly a tangible focus. That note about just 1 or 2 of our commissioners being residents of the Valley right now, and that being such a big portion of the city, was certainly considered. And I think I'd just say one other thing, and that is that those of you who came and spoke at the last meeting and here, that signaled a commitment and interest, and the person who spoke on behalf of someone who wasn't able to be here also recognized and assured me that you were candidates that would be attentive and capable. And the comments that were there to help us outreach beyond the walls of this building were very important to me. Thank you.
Commissioner Stein.
Well, I join with all my other commissioners in thanking everyone that applied for this and thanking the 20 that were selected. You all have resumes that have some very strong suits, and some of the resumes have not as strong a suit as the 5. There was one person I would have selected, but CD14 seems to be overly represented, and was unable to do that because I'm looking for the same diversity that everyone else is doing, both by council districts, by gender, by ethnicity, and such. What is so different about this process, if you went through a roster of commissioners in the city right now, or in past administrations, you would find a big majority of the commissioners would either live in Council District 5, Council District 11, Council District 6. I'm proudly leaving someone at Council District 5. And in the applications and even in the selection of the 7 of us, it runs contrary to who normally applies and tries to be on a commission. So I don't know what the conclusion of that is that you're crazy to want to be on this commission and the sane people didn't apply, or it's just a coincidence.
I will round us out. I will say, in addition to my previous comments, I definitely was looking for people who had academic experience in some of the areas that the commission will be looking into. I thought that would be helpful. On the other side of the coin, I definitely was very much looking for people who, it's so funny for me to say, in the youth. I mean, you all know I just turned 40 in January. I've never felt more like an elderly millennial, you know, as I say, like I'm no longer young. So I appreciate that I can now pass the torch as a 40-year-old. But I mean, just look at the New York City mayoral election. You have Mamdani, who's like 33, running against Cuomo. I mean, people who are youthful can do amazing things in the city that raise them. And so I absolutely want to see that representation up here with us. All right, I think all the commissioners had the opportunity to go around, so we are going to voice our 5 candidates, and then after that we're taking a 10-minute recess, and then when we come back, staff are going to tabulate that, and then we will have discussion where we can either approve it or modify it at that point, and then have a final vote after that. Anything else?
If commissioners can, while they're voicing their vote, also write it out at the same time, if you haven't already done so.
Okay. Okay, I am going to go then through each commissioner in alphabetical order, and we will each name aloud our 5 candidates. Okay, Commissioner Field.
Yes. And I just want to note for the audience, we're not ranking them. They all are number 1 on this paper. Okay. You're all number 1. I picked, again, according to the criteria we've all been mentioning, and I'll just read last names. Hopefully I will pronounce them okay. Yap, Brajo, Andrades, Velasco, Fuentes.
So this is Jonathan Grout, the city attorney's office. So what I'm going to ask to do, because the clerk and I are going to be writing things down furiously, is if we could go slow, and we may ask you to repeat it, just because we want to make sure we get that down correctly.
Do I need to get the first names also?
First names would be preferred. Full names would be preferred, but please, if you want to stick with last names, I can jot them down.
Okay. All right. Should I just go? Did you want my list again? Was it too
Yes,
fast?
please.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, and this is still just last names, just because I'd have to double check. I took a lot of notes, but Yap, Brajo, Andrades, Velasco, Fuentes.
Commissioner Lewis.
Okay, as Commissioner Field already pointed out, the paper literally has 1s for everyone. There is no ranking. So I'll say first and last names. And apologies in advance if I butcher a name. Andrea Mack, Diego Andrades, Claudia Oliveira, Carla Fuentes, Michael Yap.
And if we could just pause before moving on, just 1 second, please.
I certainly have honorable mentions, but we didn't ask for those.
You can get these afterwards if you want. Would that make it easier?
Yeah, that would definitely make it easier.
So, commissioners, please write your names at the top of these, and we'll make sure that this gets to the city clerk and attorney.
Okay. Commissioner Murray.
Thank you. Aida Amori, Maria Mi Brajo, Michael Yap, Jamil Hamilton, Barbara Steelman.
Okay. Vice Chair Sanchez.
Thank you, Chair Mesa. Carla Fuentes, Dalia Velasco, Diego Andrades, Michael Yap, and James Thomas.
Commissioner Schladiger.
Thank you. Andrea Mack, Angelina Finau, Kathy Hood, Carla Fuentes, James Thomas.
Commissioner Stein.
I'm going to just use last names, and hopefully it'll get me in less trouble. Mr. Yap, Ms. Mack, Ms. Steelman, Ms. Cohen, and Mr. Zulolian.
All right, and for myself, Carla Fuentes, James Thomas, Diego Andrades, Mara Cohen, and Andrea Mack. All right, under the previous motion, we have a 10-minute recess.
Should we turn these in or just?
Yeah, I think we turn it in. Oh, we give it to you?
Here.
I know. I feel bad for everybody because there's so many that I want to tell. Do you want to tell? I love that young. I love those young. Okay. Yeah. Where do you want to go? I know. We can go find a room. Thomas, but he didn't submit a resume, and I didn't know about it. But I like this on paper. I like it.
Take it.
This is just.
That would be for the staff.
So this looks like this is an overrated. This is cool. I've never been in this room. I know. Look at this, and I look at the drawers. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Probably. I know. They probably were talking shit. I knew both of them really well. They are a lot of fun. Tons of fun.
Yeah.
You may be right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, I was because the Ethics Commission always met. Well, it's just five, but it always met in the room where we had the other meeting. So I've never even. This is way bigger. It's way mission. I don't know. We meet at dynamic. But yeah, it is cool. My dad was a big, he worked for the city for a long time, and so he's kind of looking down on me. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even just a couple years ago, there was only one woman. Yeah. It's just kind of. Oh yeah. Just kind of that. Yeah. It is. Yeah, and several, because now with also with term limits and everything, there are a lot of folks that I had never met. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and I knew Sam Yaroslavsky, and I know his daughter-in-law. So it's all interesting. And I never even met my council members like 28 years old. I mean, just like 30. Corrado. I still haven't met my.
I did.
Oh really? Yeah, we did all that stuff. Ooh.
I could very well be out there just as well as I'm up here. I consider myself just be a concerned citizen. To be honest, I've done a couple things in my career.
I mean, he's younger than I am.
At the end of the day, I'm just a concerned, effective citizen. And I don't say that to be cool.
I want to thank
That's
you.
really how I feel.
Seriously.
It's an honor.
I really appreciate it. Especially coming from the Port of LA. Yeah.
Appreciate it. I like the suggestion. I mean, I think more broadly, the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah. but this is cool. Because you know what? No, everything's awkward. I mean, we're sort of charting new territory. Yes. Sorry about last time.
second round, just in case. Well, I mean, we'll definitely I'll let them like do use this, but just in case they also, oh boy, you know, we'll see. Wait, you gave it back?
Commissioners, we are ready to reconvene.
Here, they're all here. Oh, he handed it back. Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait, I didn't.
Nope. No problem.
I wanted to make sure. Yeah, they probably handed it back. Yeah, thanks. He was, how'd that go? I was like, did you get two? Did I miss you? Did I miss yours? There was a word there for a second.
Yeah, total failure.
Here's your choices to drop. It was kind of like, shit.
So you guys,
All right, everyone, we're gonna come back from recess, and I'm gonna ask the staff to report out.
Do you need a roll call?
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We should first take roll call coming back from recess.
All right, let's do it. We will roll call. Commissioner Field.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Present.
Commissioner Murray. Vice Chair Sanchez.
Present.
Commissioner Schlageter.
Present.
Commissioner Stein.
Present.
Chairman Mesa, present. All right. Staff report.
With the tallies of the votes announced by the commissioners, we do have a clear top five. So I will mention all of the names that were stated in descending order. So with 5 votes, we have Carla Fuentes and Michael Yap. Then next we have four votes for Diego Andrades, Andrea Mack, and 3 votes for James Thomas. And then we go down to 2 tallies for Marie Amy Brogeau, Dahlia Velasco, Barbara Steelman, Mara Cohen, and 1 tally for Michelle Zulalian, Ida Ashuri, Jamil Hamilton, Angelina Finau, and Kathy J. Hood.
Can you read the top 5?
State the top
Can you state the top 5 again?
Yes, the top 5 would be Carla Fuentes, Michael Yap, Diego Andrades, Andrea Mack, James Thomas.
And so to continue on to the staff report, those are the 5 names that garnered the majority or the highest votes from this commission. And we didn't have any ties that would have moved it into like a 6-person stretch, but it was easy, as he stated, with 5 people being the top 5 vote getters. Again, the commission does have the option to also put forward 2 alternates after this if they so choose, 1 or 2 or 3, whatever. However many this commission chooses, but those are the 5 top vote getters that staff now recommends discussion, and if the commission would like to approve those 5 to put forward as the next members to send to council.
Can we get a motion to approve these 5, and then we could have discussion, and if people want to make modifications, they could do it through the amendment process?
I move to approve the 5 top vote getters.
Second.
I'm sorry, if I could have the chair state again. So you want to vote to approve the top 5 as in the final approval for this body and then discuss, or you want to open up for discussion first?
We're going to do discussion as we discuss the motion. Okay. So we have a motion. It's been seconded. Let's open it up to discussion.
Excuse me. I have actually a question. After the top 5, who were the next several vote getters?
Yes. So after the top 5, we have 4 individuals with 2 votes each. That would be,
I'm sorry, can you speak a little louder?
After the top 5, we have 4 individuals who received 2 tallies each. Those individuals' names are Marie Amy Brogeau, Dahlia Velasco, Barbara Steelman, Mara Cohen.
Question? Chair?
Yeah, please.
For staff, just to be clear, the idea of the alternates, did you say those would only be in play until the council approves 5?
Yeah, I was speaking with the city attorney and city clerk staff. That would be the function. If there is a vacancy after that, then per the ordinance, we'd go through this process, have applicants apply again, or really, technically, I mean that's just if 1 or 2. I don't see if I can lay out the process. When we emailed all 20 over the weekend, letting them know that they were applicants, that they were selected applicants to be moved forward to this commission. They had the opportunity to let us know, and I emailed them the ordinance as well. And that's why, for example, Brandy took herself out because based on the ordinance, she said she no longer qualified, so she wanted to remove herself. So they all had the opportunity to let me know and most of them emailed me back saying, I'm looking forward to moving forward. It was really just Brandy who had the question and let us know that she wasn't moving forward. So I think they at this point, we have pretty good certainty that these 5 members, these 5 chosen potential members will move forward. This is just in case. But after the city council approves them, really then it becomes a matter of there being a vacancy and the commission selecting a process for filling that vacancy.
And one more thing related to this. When do we expect Councilman Blumenfeld to name the missing person?
I will defer to, I think the clerk staff might have an update on that.
So our office doesn't have an expected timeline for Councilmember Blumenfield's appointment. That's definitely up to the council member, but there is communication that he is looking to fill the seat.
Commissioner Stein.
And I would, so apologies, I would note for the record that with regards to Councilmember Blumenfield's appointment, that did not become ripe, I believe, until right before the meeting last week because we were waiting on formal resignation of the previously appointed member. So
that occurred?
I'm sorry?
Has the resignation occurred?
Yes, and that's why it is now with the council member. But so it's not like the council member's been sitting with it for some time. He's had it for about a week.
I don't know what the city attorney might say about this, but wouldn't we be better picking the 2 alternates? And if those alternates were willing to come to our meetings, even though they would be sitting on that side of the table instead of this side of the table for that period of time, if 1 or 2 people were to resign or move or whatever it would be, the alternates would be able to pick up right where we are because they will have listened to everything that has gone forward. The idea of going back to the appointing agency, getting the appointing agency then to make those appointments, then to get them confirmed by council, and then to get them here. By that time, we're probably issuing our final report.
I have a suspicion of the answer.
Harith Trivedi, City Attorney's Office. The ordinance provides a specific provision for vacancies, and the vacancy provisions are dependent on which appointing authority was the original appointing authority for that vacancy. For vacancies of the additional 5 commission members that you're entertaining today, the ordinance provides that it shall be, if there's a vacancy amongst those 5, it shall be filled by the same appointing authority, which is the original 8, who appointed the previous holder of that position, and the appointment shall be subject to council confirmation. So the ordinance contemplates that if a vacancy arises, the 8 members of the original 8 appointed members will convene to select a person to fill that vacancy. That has to go to council for approval. Doing so at that point in time may also be wise in the sense that you don't know which of the 5 may be vacated. There may be certain gaps in the scope of the commission's representation that you may want to consider at that time, depending on who is the, which person became vacant, which office became vacant, which person vacated the office.
Answer your question?
You might not. It answers my question. I don't need to necessarily agree, but yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion that we have before us is for the top 5 to become the 5 commissioners, and then we can go into discussion on the alternates. So I want to see if any commissioner has discussion on the top 5.
May I be heard?
Yes,
I
Commissioner.
think they're all extremely well qualified candidates, and I'm looking forward to working with all of the individuals who were selected.
Any other commissioners?
I move the motion.
All right, the motion has been moved. Let's go to a vote. All right, let me do the roll call. So let's restate.
If
the
you need
mo-
a second, I'll second.
Go ahead.
Well, so there was an initial motion by Commissioner Sanchez, seconded by Chair Meza for this motion. So
yeah, that's fine.
And just to alert the commission, to appoint these 5 members, you will need a 2/3 vote. So that would be 6.
6.
All right.
2/3 of the contemplated 8, which is why it's 6. Yes.
Right. All right. So I will do. Can we? Okay. So the top 5. So we're going to approve the top 5, which are Carla Fuentes, Michael Yap, Diego Andrades, Andrea Mack, and James Thomas. All right. Do the roll call vote. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schladiger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
Chairman Mesa, yes. All right, the motion is approved. Congratulations. There's been a request if for any of the new, well, the people who have been named, if you're here today, if you could stand, just so we could see you. If you're here. Right. Thank you. All right.
Can't believe we didn't have more celebrities try to get on this commission.
Yeah. All right, commissioners, let's go into the discussion on alternates.
May I raise a question on
Please,
that?
yes.
Since the city attorney has stated that if someone were to resign, that it will go through the process that was gone through for the 5, why are we picking alternates? Because that's not the process.
This is only for this very short period we have before it goes to council. So less than 48 hours that we have, I believe under, and the city, I'll let the city attorney, whom we discussed with this, stated that this would only be, those alternates would only be used if someone of the 5 withdraws before it gets voted by the city council. Correct?
That's my understanding. It's entirely in your discretion whether you want to do this.
Yeah.
It would be only if an alternate is needed if somebody drops out between now and council confirmation, but it's entirely, it's not required you do this. It's entirely under your discretion.
100%. I've just stated that I think to a couple of you, if we don't pick any alternates, that's when we'll need one. If we do pick alternates, we won't need them. That's just how the universe usually works out in my favor. I don't know how it works out in all of your favor. Sometimes it could be different. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
And just to add, so if you recall when we were discussing this last week, there's a 2-stage process. So this is the initial appointment of the 5. I believe what was discussed before with regards to coming back to this initial body of 8 or 7, which will eventually be 8, for replacing an alternate is if that vacancy occurs after these first 5 are appointed. So
I move to table the discussion of alternates.
A second.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion to table? Commissioner Field.
Yeah, I just want to say that honestly, hopefully what Executive Director Ramirez said is true. I would rather do, let's say, the next 2 on the list on that very slight chance that one of the 5 we pick suddenly realizes they have a conflict or whatever, just because otherwise we wouldn't be sending the full 5 to council. I'm going to vote against the motion. I'd rather pick the 2 as just this kind of backup thing, which hopefully we will never need.
Any further discussion on the motion? Commissioner Lewis.
Yeah. Given, as someone has pointed out, it's not on the agenda. If we discuss it, does that put this process into some kind of legal peril at all? So I guess that would be for council.
So, as a general rule, we don't provide legal advice in the open record, but I think in this instance, the whole purpose is to select the 5, which is on the agenda. So it is not, and that's all I'll say on that for right now.
So I'd be fine just tabling the discussion.
Any additional discussion on the motion?
You're going to table it? Yeah. Is that a motion to table it, or?
It's already
been.
We have that.
Yes, so I'm supporting.
All right, seeing no further discussion, then we'll go to a motion. We'll go to a vote on the motion to table the discussion of alternates. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Field.
No.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yes.
Commissioner Murray.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
Yes.
Commissioner Schlageter.
Yes.
Commissioner Stein.
Yes.
Chairman Mesa, yes. All right, motion passes. Okay. I would like to see if those are all the items on the agenda. I would like to see if any commissioners have any just closing comments for today, or staff. Yeah,
I'll go after commissioners.
okay.
Yeah.
If I may, I just want to thank everybody again for showing up. I did come at the elevator with our representatives back there, all in their suits. I know they were very hot, but super important that you continue to engage. Thank you.
Commissioner?
I think staff was probably going to answer what I hoped for public consumption. We would cite the next meeting date.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, the staff probably going to do that hopefully in the report. Any other commissioners before the staff have concluding remarks? All right.
Thank you. So we'll shortly be in touch with these 5 selections, letting them know that they'll move forward. Again, I'll be in touch with the Rules Committee, letting them know of the 5 moving forward and for their process for the committee meeting on Friday. I'll keep this commission posted on the process along the way, and I look forward to just the next steps. I want to reiterate that our next meeting, again, we've got to wait for this commission, these 5 members to be picked, finalized and approved by council, which is about the 1st. Then they have to onboard, which will take about a week or so. And then the next really available date that we saw that worked for as many people as possible was, I believe, July 19th, where we found availability and everything. And then we'll really get going. I know it's a little bit bigger of a gap than we'd have liked, but based on availability of like speakers that we've had lined up and commissioners and everything, that's kind of where we're lined up. And then we'll just, at least every 2 weeks. Again, the commission could ask to meet more often, and we look forward to having that discussion at the first meeting of the full commission where we discuss the engagement plan.
Commissioner Field.
Yeah, thank you. Follow up on that. Do you have a prediction as of now, as the 19th is a Saturday?
Yes.
And do you have a prediction of what time of day and where that meeting might be? I know we were trying to get away from City Hall.
We will definitely, these meetings will kick off in the districts, and I think we're looking at, what district are we looking at? CD12 is our first meeting. I don't think we're going to start too early in the morning because, it is a Saturday, and I care for your happiness as much as I care for the communities, but it will be a long meeting as well. So just kind of be prepared because we'll have those the business of the outreach plan / budget, electing permanent officers, and then presentations from scholars, experts, city staff, plus public comment. on that first agenda. So it will be a busy day.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other comment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So is there a second?
Second.
All right, without objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Fine with me.
Thank you so much. It's going to be weekends. We have to be afterwards. We have to be in the middle of the day. And then we'll do some Sundays, but like somewhere we're going to miss people, and we have to be like this year. The what now? But then we have Sundays. We have to meet on a Saturday, and we have to meet on a Sunday. A fair amount. So, like, either we're gonna miss, people who have, church goings on Sunday, or we're gonna have, on Saturday. We're gonna mix it up. Yeah, but again, we'll probably do that as well. We're going to be equal opportunity in everyone getting a chance to mix as well. So don't worry. No problem. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Good job. Yeah. It's awful.
All right. There we go. Again. Oh my God. It's my pleasure. You remind me of myself. I'm obsessed.
First, how is my yeah, they have internet. Right now. Okay. Right.